Hey guys, welcome back to the Godot Space Beginner Sidescroller tutorial series. In this tutorial, this is gonna be tutorial number 13, and in this tutorial, we're just basically just setting final touches to the UI, kind of doing our own theme to the game. I'll go over that, and that's basically about it for this tutorial. Let's go back. I'm pretty sure this is probably gonna be the final tutorial, so it's been fun doing all this tutorial stuff with you guys, and I'm gonna do a lot more of this in the future. Um, but I'm probably gonna do some devlogs of my own games I've been working on and a lot more tutorials. And since you guys have been supporting the YouTube channel a lot recently, I've just hit like 110 subs. I'm I'm gonna be upping the quality of the upcoming videos and starting to kind of work on this channel a lot more lately. So that's basically what I've been doing. Now on to the tutorial. So I'm gonna start working on the theme to the game. So in the UI folder, I'm gonna make a new folder under UI. Let's do new folder, and we're gonna call it theme. And in theme, we want to do new resource, and we want to do theme. And instead of new theme.tres, we're just going to call this theme. Okay, so now you can see this little window come up right here. And if you can't stretch it out, you can just minimize it and then pull it back up. But you can see that basically all of Godot's UI runs off of this theme. It's using all of Godot's default UI, and Godot actually runs off the same game engine that we're using, so it uses a lot of the similar attributes. And so we're going to edit some of these things, but before we edit, we're going to have to import some of our assets. So in the description, there's asset folder, Google Drive link, has all the assets. You want to open the theme folder, and this is where we're going to have all our themes. And all of our stuff that we're going to be using in our themes. So I'm just going to drag these over into the theme. And it should have panel, panel hover, and panel press. And I find themes pretty fun to kind of make. They're pretty cool. You can make your own UI really quickly. So we're going to do that. So edit theme. And we're going to add a class item. This bit, I'll go over what this does in a second, but if you hit these two little dots right next to type, it'll open this little menu of all of these things that we're gonna do. We're gonna be using a button, so we want to hit button right here to add this item and press add all. And now you don't really see anything, but the reason why is you have to double click the theme. So you open. Well, don't double. Yeah, just go over to the inspector right here. And you can see now we have a little button section. So other than showing all the themes sections, because there is so much, you have to manually add them all. So that's why we have to add them all, but we can now edit the button. So you can edit the colors, constraints, fonts, stuff like that. So for our default font for our entire theme, we're going to be using our small font because a lot of the theme stuff is going to be pretty small. So we're going to be using our small font that we created in the last video. So drag font small as the default font. Now you can see these have turned into these little pixel font stuff all the way over here. It kind of looks pretty cool. But we want to change the colors of this. And so that's where panel comes into play. So in styles, we have normal, pressed, hover, focus, and disabled. We're only using normal, pressed, and hover. We're not going to be using focus or disabled. So these are going to be using a texture theme thing. So if you click on here, new style box texture. We don't want to keep editing the attributes of the texture each time we import it. So we're going to make, either than making a new one each time, we're just going to create a new resource and then reuse that resource. So right click on the theme folder. Right here, we're going to do new resource. And we're gonna do style box texture right here. Texture based on 3x3 scale style. Create and rename this to panel.tres. So now on this texture, you can open it and it has a texture we want to import. We're going to import our panel texture. Now you can see in here, we have our panel, and I can zoom in real quick. There we go. And you can see right here, it's stretching the panel window. Other than stretching the entire sprite to the size of the button, it's going to look very ugly if we do that. What you can do is set a margin for it. So a margin is like what color you want to fill everything in. It won't stretch the edges it won't stretch the outside of the margin. And so if we do like 3 in, 3 to the right, 3 to the top, and 3 to the bottom, you can now see our preview is now the purple, or like pinkish. That's the margin, so that's what it's going to be stretching. It's not going to be stretching the edges now. It's going to look nicer when we do this. But if you have your own assets, like Stylebox, if you have your own like panels that you want to use, that's just fine. You just need to figure out the margin that you're going to be using for that panel. So I'm going to go back into our theme, double click that. I'm going to go into our button styles. In normal, I'm just going to add panel.tres for a normal. And whoa, you see that? It just like imported those new ones. And I'm going to click on it again so I can actually stretch it. And you can see we have all these new stuff, but when we hover over it, it goes to the default stuff because they're empty right now. So our hover is going to be empty. So that's why it's just going to turn gray when we hover over it. But that looks really nice. I'm really happy with this UI so far. So we're going to add the hover panel now. So I'm going to duplicate this the panel texture thing. I'm going to call it panel hover, because we're essentially using a lot of the same values. We're just changing the texture. So open panel hover, drag in the new texture, panel hover, and set the margin so it doesn't get stretched like that. So margin 3 to the left, or 3 to the right, and 3 to the top and bottom. Okay. I'm going to save that. I'm going to go over to theme, and I'm going to drag hover into the style right here. Now, if I click on the theme again, it has this weird glitch where it doesn't work. It will work in 3.2, but in this 3.1 Godot version doesn't work. But there we go. You see how they highlight when we hover over them. That looks really nice. So Godot it's really nice with UI. I've really liked the way Godot handles UI, and this is really easy so far just to import it, and I enjoyed it in the UI. So right click the panel hover, we're going to duplicate it, we're going to call it panel underscore press, open the press file, and in the texture, we're going to drag our press panel texture, and it has already kept all the values. For some reason before it did not keep the values, but this time it has. So in our theme, I'm going to drag the panel press.trs file into the pressed one. Now you can see that, let me stretch it out. Now you can see that when I click on them, it gets a bit darker after I click, because that's just indicating that's been pressed. So that looks awesome. And the rest of this UI stuff, we're probably not going to be using this on switch. We're probably not going to be using checkboxes. Probably not going to be using tabs. This is all just for the buttons. So you guys can still customize a lot of the other UI elements, but for this tutorial, we're just customizing the button. So now you can see the button is not being customized, and the only reason is if you go to theme, select the button, go to theme. on the theme, you want to drag theme.tres under this theme. Now it's being applied. Look how cool that is. Now you got your own like looking button and not Godot's built-in buttons. Now it hovers and you can press it and it goes. So that's pretty awesome. And we have the enemies we can shoot at, our background moving, our score updating, our hearts depleting when we hit enemies, all of that stuff. That is awesome. So I'm gonna drag the output down. So that's all of our UI. We've all set it up. So for the last part of this tutorial, since this is gonna be the last tutorial of the series, I'm gonna go over exporting the project. So you guys can be able to put this on the website or just play on your computer. I might be able to do an Android tutorial, but you'll have to install the Android stuff yourself. Android is, I've kind of had issues with my Android thing in Godot, so that's the only reason why I'm not going to go over it today. So don't go to project settings, my bad. Just go to project right here. Export. So now we'll be able to get our game out to people, and they'll be able to play it, so they don't have to have the engine to run the game. So now it has a presets option. You can press add, and what might happen for you guys when you import your HTML, I'm just going to go over what HTML is. If you guys didn't know, HTML5, so HTML is actually like a website thing. It runs on a website. That's the basic coding language for websites. HTML5 is the newest version of this website coding base. So we're exporting to HTML5, and it might say manage export templates or something down here, and it'll say download here. Just press that download here button and download all the export templates. I already have them installed, so they will work for mine, but they might not work for yours. So you just want to go over that. If that doesn't come up and it won't export for you, I'd recommend going to a tutorial online to go see if that works. But that, sadly, I don't have that happening right here because I've already installed that, so I won't be able to go through that for you guys. But let's see, we don't really need to change anything. I'm just gonna hit export project, and I'm gonna make a new folder inside of this tutorial folder. I'm just gonna call this exports, and it'll ask space sidescroller tutorial.html. I guess we want to save it with the HTML. I'm not going to export with debug because that takes up more space, and we already know our project doesn't have any issues, and it's not in development anymore. We're kind of done, so we don't really need to debug, and I'm going to press save. And it has saved the HTML5 file. So what's going to happen is you can try opening it, but it's probably not going to work. It might work depending on the browser you're using, but it's probably not. And this is not the right folder. Oh, maybe it is. Sidescroller tutorial. Do we have our exports? Right there. Okay. So now you see all the HTML, all of this asset stuff. To run this in the browser, I need to zip this all. And you can try just running the HTML5, the HTML file, but look, it's gonna be loading and it's gonna be like failed to load file. Reason why it can't load this is because it can't load its data files because Chrome uses a security thing where it's like you cannot load these files without permission. So, well, Chrome is kind of like they want the security to sorry, they want security so their browser can't use can't like have attackers like hackers be loading files from your computer back to that browser. So that's the only reason why it doesn't work. You'll need a web server if you want to get that working. But what I recommend doing is uploading this to itch.io. So to do this, I would select all the content, right click it, and you probably don't have 7-zip, so just do send to compressed zip folder. Now I'm just going to call this Sidescroller tutorial.zip. I'll just save that. And I would recommend going to an online place that would like host your files. And I'll just press create new project. So itch.io is a place that hosts your games and stuff. So I would recommend doing it on here because they'll do it for free. You just need to make an account. As you can see, I'm signed in. So make an account, and then you want to go to your dashboard. Hit this little arrow. You want to go to dashboard after you make an account, and then you can just press upload new project. Just press upload new project, and then it'll be like create new project, and you'll be like space Sidescroller tutorial finished. I don't know. Just call it that or something. And I don't need to fill this in. And then the kind of project, you'd be like, I'm using the HTML. You'd be able to run this online, and you can set the donation stuff or not. It honestly doesn't matter. Then you want to do upload files, upload, and I want to go to my folder, Samsung Drive, projects. I want to open my export, and I hit my zip folder, and it's like, oh, I'm uploading it. And you want to hit right here. You want to do executable. You want to change this to, actually don't do that. This file can be played in browser. Click that so it knows that that file can be played. And in video dimensions, I'm just going to set to 1280 by 720. You can refer to the video dimensions of your game by going to project settings, and in test width and test height, it will be these values. So make sure those are the same. And I don't think I need any more. Yeah, this is all optional. And I'll just save it as a draft so no one else can see it. And it would be like loading game. Oh, you see, it's not going to work because it's looking for index.html, but you can see it's called space Sidescroller tutorial.html. So you want to rename this to index. That's very important. Index.html. I forgot about that. itch.io checks for index. So you want to make sure that's correct. And I'm just going to delete my zipped folder. Right click it. Yeah, okay. Select this all. Right click it. Send to compressed zipped folder. And I'll just call it index.zip. It probably doesn't matter at that zip, but just to be safe, I'm going to do that. I'm going to hit edit game. Sorry about that. I'm going to go more. Actually, no. Just delete file. Yes. Upload file. Index.zip. Open. This file can be played in browser. Save. View page. And you press run game. You get this little loading bar when it's running. And it runs. Sweet. But I don't have the default scene set to the title screen yet. You can do that probably. It's probably somewhere in the project settings. I'll have to look. But I'm just going to show you guys it going back. There we go. And it works beautifully on the website. That's pretty awesome. You're able to get it running on the website. So now I'm going to go over the project settings and see if I can fix that. I think it might be environments. No. Oh, main scene right here. So you want to go run main scene. Hit this folder icon. Set the main scene. Don't want to do world. We want to go to UI. Title screen.tscn. This is our main scene. Now, when we run it, should run that main scene. So you can re-export if you want that in there. That's basically it. And if you want for Windows, it's a very easy process. It's not as complicated as the web process, but you just hit export, add platform, Windows desktop. You can do the same for Linux. And you would probably set the game name. That would probably be Space Game. Space Game, and company name. I'll just write like my name or my username. I'd probably do my username if I was making this. If I can even type. Oh my gosh. And I do export project, and it will save as an exe file. And I press save, and it compacts it all into the Windows file. And it's probably gonna take it a bit. Yep. So now it is done, and I can hit the file explorer, and now we have .exe, and I can run it. That's awesome. So now we have it running on Windows and running on web. So that's pretty cool. You guys are able to put this all out, and you can share your games out there. That's basically it for this entire tutorial series. I really hope you guys like this. It looks like you guys love this series. There's a lot more to come, though. I'm really hoping to do a lot more with the YouTube channel, and so there'll be more to come. So yeah, I hope you guys like this, and hope you guys learned something new, and I'll see you in the next one.